All right, so tonight I'm actually enjoying what's going on with sports algorithms and with wagering, and it's about darn time. I enjoyed this once last week too, but generally it's been really frustrating. However, tonight is fun, and so I'm going to do an update here at 11 p.m. on the East Coast on December 13th here. So we're Tuesday night, and I'm reviewing scores. So I made a wager today without really looking at the algorithms. I made a wager on my phone without doing any of them because I just wanted to make my own picks and kind of do a hey, how about I pay attention to games a lot more than I want to oftentimes, following the algorithms as they play out their predictions against all sports that we're covering, like college basketball, like NBA, national professional basketball, which is still going on tonight here Tuesday, and hockey, which is still going on right now. A lot of interesting things going on in hockey. This is really going to be a podcast about a lot of different sports, and I'm going to go in segments. So we're going to start out with talking about wagering on all sports, and then we're going to get into sports one at a time. So here's the wager I made against, not necessarily against the algorithm, but I want to compare my own handicapping ability based on what I've been paying attention to without looking so intently at what the algorithm says and without updating it. Yet then I update it when the games start and see if it still agrees or not. For example, I took the Sabres. What did the NHL algorithm say? Don't look at any of this nonsense. We're just going to make a quick comparison. The Buffalo game, they crushed it 6-0. The algorithm said nope. Algorithm said they were going to lose a really close game to LA. So that's one for Ken. This is one where I beat the algorithm. Ken versus Algo. This is a Ken win. So you would actually put my name versus it's either me, Algo, or Ty. Ty win, Ty loss. So we'll see. Stars. I liked the Stars personally. What did the algorithm say? The algorithm said the Dallas Stars were not even favored, that the Devils are so good. So this is bad, but I liked the line right here. I was like, I saw plus 125. I didn't know Wedgwood was playing. I thought it would be Ottinger instead of Wedgwood. Apparently it's Wedgwood. Whatever. This is one for the algorithm. Again, Stars win. I'm going recency biased off the Devils just blowing a game to the Rangers, and I'm like, they can lose. Dallas is a pretty good team. I see a plus 125. I'm taking it. This is another one where Ken beats the algorithm. Whoa, what's going on? If I'm beating the algorithm, that's interesting. Next, I took the over because it's a terrible bet because I'm bad at betting and I lost this. The algorithm said what? Did the algorithm say this was going to be? It was actually over 5.5 that I had. I took this in game because I made this bet while this game was going on and Florida was up 1-0, I think in the first period. The algorithm said that in the Florida game, which is right here, it said this final score would be 7 goals high, and you can see Columbus did nothing. And that's why you don't clear the 5.5. So basically it's a tie loss, but don't bet. It's a loss for me, I feel like, because you shouldn't be betting over-unders on big round robins. You're asking for trouble. And I know that, and I, for some reason, didn't just take Florida like minus 1.5 or something like I should have. And there you go. Bad bet, but it's a tie loss. Or whatever. It knows it's a loss. So it's a tie there. Islanders plus 2.5. So the Islanders were down a goal in the first period, and I got this amazing line plus 2.5 goals. I'm like, the Islanders are a good team. Like they're playing well this year. I go, I know that they're going up against I know that there's so many games today. I know they're going up against Boston, a really, really great team, but the Islanders still have a strong goalie. And it's really saying Boston's incredible. I know, but the Islanders will fight. And sure enough, I guess this is a win for Ken because the algorithm did not predict they would cover 2.5. It said it would be 5-1 and that they wouldn't. So this is another one where I beat the algorithm by not looking at it. Wow. 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 All right, next, Sacramento Kings plus 6.5. So I started looking at NBA. So we talked, no, let's finish off with the hockey bets though. There's this and there's this and there's this. And there's this. There's still 4 more hockey bets. How about the Oilers? Did the algorithm think the Oilers were going to win? As you can see, we're starting off with hockey first. Then we'll go to NBA. Then we'll go to college basketball, which really needs to be discussed. Because college basketball, as of this video starting, has not lost a home game yet. It was 16-0, and there's like 4 or 5 left. So we're gonna have to track that through this video here. It's gonna be a long podcast. Edmonton and Nashville. It said Edmonton. Yes, it did. So this is a tie win. Algorithm and my handicapping both agreed. So the Oilers is a tie win. Right, perfect. The Golden Knights. Now this one I got lucky. I decided that Winnipeg just blew a game to the Caps at home, I think. Vegas seems like a better team. I saw the plus 110 or whatever I got it on there. I got better at plus 110, right? What did I get? I got them at plus 118. I saw this. I was like, it's a hockey game, and I see good lines and I take it. So I went against the algorithm though, right? Algorithm says, yep. Algorithm says Winnipeg barely was. It's another one where I'm going with a good line against the algorithm and winning. Man, this is not a good advertisement for the algorithm today. Over 6 and under 6.5. This game's still going on, so we don't know yet. So we don't know what's going to happen here yet. But this game's also still going on. So is this game and this game actually, but this one might have cleared 6 goals. We're going to find out. That one is now 5-2. It absolutely has cleared 6 goals. And I believe this is Ken beats the algorithm again on this game. Boy, it's funny how I picked something that the algorithm disagree with. This only said 5.5 goals, and I took over 6, and it's already at 5. I don't know how many goals. So Ovechkin had all 5 goals. Who knows? They're trying to give him all of them. And the other game is still 2-0 Sharks. Boy, wait till you see what happens here when it comes to pivotal things with the games that are still going on. So that's all the hockey games, right? So everything hockey is colored in hockey blue here, right? Because I have so many algorithms going that we have to kind of keep track of stuff by sports. So hockey's all blue, and the only pick I lost was a stupid over-under pick. So watch out for over-unders. I made 3 of them when I should have just picked winners, like the Caps to win, like Florida to win. And I don't know, I probably shouldn't have done anything in this game because it wasn't a clear winner. But that's hockey. Let's talk NBA now because there's other NBA stuff going on. So let's do a quick update of the NBA scores. The Jazz are winning heavily, and that is awesome. They are up 101-78, and the Celtics are beating the Lakers 65-50. And this is where at halftime, this is where it will be really interesting if the Lakers can come back based on my bet. We'll talk about that in a second. So I took the Rockets. Why? Because of these injuries, and I took them plus points, and I said, I don't know. I went against the algorithm, right? Algorithm said they would cover the spread of 5.5, and it said they would cover even more than that about, I think. So that's a win for me because they won that game. The Rockets won, right? So this is again going against the odds makers, going against the algorithm and winning. I should never look at the algorithm if I keep having days like this. So this is a win, and we'll call it, it's a Ken win also. It's not, the algorithm loses again. Sacramento, though, is going to be a loss, and I think it's a tie loss because let's see. Does the algorithm think Sacramento covers plus 6.5? Sacramento was down here. I thought Sacramento was going to win, and they lost by 20. So it's both of us wrong and the injuries. So that's a tie. So that's when I at least agree with the algorithm and lost, which is a tie loss here. So when we're talking about things like ties being yellow, for example, let me make ties yellow. And then Ken's are green and algorithms winning with me losing or losses, and they'll be red. We'll show that in a second. So the Jazz are winning heavily, and that looks like, what did the algorithm say about the Jazz? It said they were going to lose. Oh my goodness. This is me beating the algorithm again. I'm calling that game because they're up by like 20. Unbelievable. This is unbelievable. Now, Lakers. This is one I might lose to the algorithm the way it's going. The Lakers are supposed to lose according to the algorithm. It's all Celtics all the way. This is a bad bet. There's a high margin, high projected. This is really going hard against the algorithm, and I am losing right now on that bet. And if I lose that bet, instead of $1,255, it's only going to be $552, which is still a very nice payday on a $152 wager. But stuff's not done yet. Okay, so a lot of stuff's done, but not everything, because this game's still going on. So what if you lose this game and this game goes over 6.5 goals? Now it's only 260, but it's still a winning day. So this is why I kind of wanted to say I'm having fun today, because basically what's cool is I'm free rolling essentially. I'm already going to win $260 if the Jazz win, and they're up by a lot right now. Okay. They're up by, yeah, they're up by 20 something points in fourth. Like they're probably going to win. So I'm free rolling now to hit these other two and get potentially $1,255 if it's crazy and the Lakers come back. All right. So all that being said, that was on a $152 wager with stuff. You could have done a whole bunch of other things here if you wanted to put more into this because you really like this. This is me going against the algorithm a ton, right? Like if you want to put, what is this, $400 into this, you would be now swinging on the end here for, a few $1,000s on the Lakers. And then this game, which is paid $1,500, is now swinging like $1,000 on goals in this game, but you are free rolling. See how you're still up? You're still up 40% on the day, even if you lose those two. So it's these nights that are fun. And man, does it make me not want to look at the algorithm. Oh my goodness. I'm probably going to lose the Lakers, though, to the algo. Algo going to win that, most likely. I'm probably going to lose this, the way it looks right now. And I didn't bet on it. Whatever. Point is that's NBA, that's NHL. Now, I noticed I didn't bet any college basketball at all. How's college basketball going? How's it going? Let's just double check on some scores. Memphis versus Alabama college basketball score.
They're trailing Alabama 75-70 in the second half.
Okay, so Alabama's ahead, but there's still a minute left. We're not going to put a score in there. So there's 26 games that are finished so far that I've recorded. There's still 3 that we haven't. Okay. So of the 26, what do I say? I go, we have no home bump going on here either. I go, oh, you're supposed to take home teams with high margins. Click on home teams. We are 16-0 right now. What's the games that we're waiting on? All these home teams, and we have Alabama and they're ahead. And I don't know when those other games start. So there is a very strong potential of going 19-0 on home teams at no bump. Everything goes 21-5. So that means what? You lost your away teams and you lost all of them below margin of 20%, which I've always said, home bumps between 5 and 20%. Yep, there it is. See how you lose all these? And VMI covers, by the way, which mattered because that was our only underdog, and you could get them plus a ton of points. So they did cover, so that matters. Because them winning would have been awesome, but that's not how you judge whether or not this pick was a win, because you take them plus a ton of points. That's what the algorithm was really saying there on the road. So I don't know why it still favored them so much, but it did. And you win the ones up top above margins of 20. I mean, Asheville was at a reasonable line. You got some bad strength of schedules down all here, but the UMBC wins. Oh yeah, I wanted to do what I did yesterday. Let's sort this by power descending. and see if we get those losses chunked out a little better. DMI covers and Prairie View loses, and Marshall is the highest one, is higher than they have. Whatever. I just wanted to share this so far. So like I don't know. I mean, I'll end on this, right? Let's say that these are all the games, and you decided to take all of these lines, right? There's 15, but some of these are some of these are off. I don't know what to say. Like, which lines would you take here? I guess. And how do you do this? You sort by money line descending. And you would have tried to take anything, I guess, to like here. 1,800 maybe. I would say you could fit 15, but minus 7,000, 4,000, like that's just insane. 1,800 is at least a number that you can count to. So like if you go with 12 of these, right? Because I said take all home teams, 3 of them are not done yet. But if you had used those 12, okay, the same bet here, they all win. They all win. That's what happens. So that's $1,300. And I did something like this. Yeah, what did I do? I did like this. I think it was something like that. I don't remember what I did. Maybe it was this. Yeah, something like that. So you would have swept through, but you only would have got paid, so you wouldn't have done it this way with the home favorites because you're expecting to win more. All right. So this is really intriguing. So I say, your home teams are awesome, right? Now there was injuries here, but if you just do it, right? Just did it. Just did it. You got 12 of them, but they're not done yet. Not over yet. Some of those teams might lose. This would be a good simulation to show you what happens if one of them loses. So the lines are terrible, but you're going to win all of them. And you then have say you have $100 to risk on this. You expect, because they're home teams, you're like, Ken says that 90% of these games win anyway. So that means he's expecting to go 10-2 or 11-1. Falls within a range of like 85 to 100%, something like that, right? That's about right, something like that. So close, definitely between 80 and 100%. I think it's over 85, right? If it goes 10-2, then you win. No, you don't win one. You win a percentage. You win 83%. Close. All right. So something between 10-2 and 11-1. Well, here's what happens if you go for the gusto on the $100 and want to try to hit every one, is you can get 8-1 on this. I don't recommend that because you're probably going to get hit and lose one, right? That's what I said. So I just put $1 on the end to see what it pays, which is 9-1. Then you're like, all right, Ken says I'm going to hit a lot of these. 3. How about 1? All right, here you have $100. You got it. If you go 10-2, you will get paid something. This pays 7-1. I've had a really nice payout on these games to just look at the algorithm and throw them in here and try to get these lines. Now, what happens though? Not all those games are over. There's Santa Clara, Washington, although Alabama is winning it. Alabama is they're now up 75-82 with a minute left. They're looking pretty good. So, they're up by 7 with a minute left. I'm going to call that early for them for the purposes of this video. Maybe we'll check back if we're still going. So now all of a sudden you're 17-0. And you've got Santa Clara and Washington. Perfect. You have 2 variable games still out there, right? Those games are, where are they? Santa Clara and Washington. What happens if you lose them both? Now all of a sudden you're losing money going 11 and 1. Yeah, that sucks. That's amazing. So, well, yeah, I really don't like that. What if you then lose Washington? I mean, you basically bet the parlay if you're doing this. Yeah, now you get almost nothing back because the lines are so brutal. See how awful these lines are? So, like, does it pay to do a different level of round robin here? Like I always say, if you do like 12 picks, you want to be playing something around the fives. So what if you got $80 there, and then maybe you do another $20 there, so you get a little over 100 here. This only pays $329 if you hit them all anyway. And then what happens if you lose that Santa Clara and Washington State? So here you win at 11 and 1 and 10 and 2. You only lose a little bit. So this is more reasonable. So playing with your money down here, for example, you can see what happens when you go 10 and 2, the difference. Here you still lose. What if you start wagering on the threes? Still lose. It's just not worth it. It shows you the profitability of each one with the dollar total big parlay in there, but let's get that out of there for a second. So I like to look at the profitability with each one. So let's pretend we put $1 on each one. Watch how you read this. So if you bet $66 and just the twos on all these 12, you actually make 1%. That's interesting. So at this level, you are actually profitable with these terrible lines at 10 and 2, something that was very difficult to do at any other level. Let's see. At the threes level, you lose 2% because there's more wasted wagers you lost essentially. What about at the fours? Fours, you got to bet $495 to do this, but you lose 7%. So you won at the twos, lost at threes, lost at the fours. How about the fives? Cost you $3,900, you lose 16%. Nope. It gets worse. Doesn't matter what number you use, but 27% at the sixes, terrible. At the sevens, you're down 41%. The eights, you're down 58%. The nines, you're down 74%. It shows you how bad it is to bet those ones way up here. At the tens, you're down 90%, and then you lose everything if you only bet 11s or the big parlay. So that's a really nice example of explaining what happens when you lose. Now, let's talk about when you win. Okay. Then remember I said we were profitable here at this level? Well, what does that mean? It means we bet $66. And if we hit everything on this one where we ended up going, only making 1% profit if we lost. This is what keeps happening if we lose games here. We're still barely profitable at 10 and 2, but our max profitability, if we just made this bet, is only 46% anyway, even if we get all of them right. That differs dramatically from the other extreme of the parlay, which pays 815%. It pays 915 instead of. You gotta look at the percent here. 813 instead of 46. Don't look at the number because it's a different wager depending on how much you wager. Like to get this down to $1, I would have to do equals $1 divided by 66. Right? Yeah. That ain't right. No, sorry. What am I saying? I wanted to make it equal to the one. I guess we call it 100. Yeah, so you can get 8 to 1 there on this versus, let's do each one of them. You get 46% with just the twos. You get 76% with just the threes. Starts to get better. 113% with the fours. 156% with the fives. So we can start measuring the jump in rate. 208 with the sixes. 271 with the sevens, 345 with the eights. Starts to really get big there. 434 for the nines, 539 for the tens, 665, and then 813, 815. So, I mean, I saw a big jump right around here to the eights, 271 to, was it 299? It was the nines. 430, I thought there was a 300 in there. The eights was doing so much processing, 345. Yeah. So at the beginning of the next chunk, there's some big changes. So I think it's in both of these spots, right? Because this doesn't seem worth it and fun for a day to only shoot for 46% ROI. This doesn't seem fun enough either at the threes to shoot for what, 70 something percent ROI? So much processing going on, 76% ROI. Now it's starting to get a little more fun at you're trying to double your money. And you don't lose everything when you lose a game this way. You're still profitable going 11-1, and you're going to lose money here though. Yep, barely though. So you'll actually break even in this sense. So this is kind of a sweet spot, I feel like right here. 4 or the 8. Right? What happens if you go 10-2 with the 8? Down 58%. It's a big difference. So it's question is, you know, where within your budget do you play these, or do you play a bunch of them really inexpensively and then potentially cash some of them out depending on how the games are going tonight? Because I mean, the games that I actually have active, as Alabama's up by 5 and probably winning in college basketball, but the other things that I had going that I totally lost up here before, you know, that I'm following, they because of the way I wagered, you have a bunch of different things that you can potentially cash out on. It's going to give you expected value. Like if you had made this bet right now, and the sports book is judging your potential of winning and how much you're going to win. They're like, oh, this person is going to win, you know, $558 off us. They're gonna have a gross payout of 1,000. They can look at the different slivers that you might have wagered, and they could be like, you know, like say you did this. They could look at some of the bigger ones because now it goes up. They'd be like, well, this last one here, the 11s ones that he bet, where he bet $12 just to pay 91. Like while these games are going on, if these teams are ahead, they'll offer you like $75-$80 to just take it. And if you have a bunch of different wagers and different slivers on these games, you can cash out different portions of your big, huge round robin at different times. They oftentimes will give you that option on mobile wagering. So this is really a high-tech way of dealing with a lot of games. And I mean, I'm doing two things in here. One is I'm really applauding the college basketball algorithm for really doing good things with home teams, and just doing good things in general. I changed the order of stuff, didn't I? Yeah, it's send by margin again. Like, let's make some sense. Yeah, like this is incredible so far, and we'll cheer on the last two games, and we'll cheer on checking some basketball score here, see if we've got a final in the Jazz game yet. The Jazz won 121-100. And the Celtics game is 75-59. They are up by 16 in the third quarter. Not insurmountable lead, but that's going to be difficult. And the hockey game is 2-1. That's what's scary. That's already at 3 goals in the first period. It's a huge swing on my wager, and that's what I get to watch. As I get to hope that Arizona and San Jose all of a sudden wake up and start playing better goaltending. Caps are up 7-3, by the way. Does Ovechkin have like 6 goals? I should be listening to that game instead of doing this video. But I wanted to get it out. 7-3. They won 7-3 actually. So let's take a look at everything real quick before we go. 8-4. San Jose's winning. What about Philly and Colorado? Yeah, I want to check that real quick. Boy, Washington. Feeling it. Philly is losing 2-3 now. And yeah, I mean, all right. So I'll leave you guys with this, which is sometimes it's like, especially in a sport like hockey, where it's really, really difficult. I look for good lines and try to get lucky and love watching hockey. And that's why it was enjoyable is I was having such a great time watching Vegas continue to come back and eventually beat Winnipeg because I had them on that huge wager and I was rooting in all these teams. And it was nice to see them basically all win on that ticket. So that makes it fun. You couple that with some common sense and purchasing equity in these home teams that win all the time. And thrown them on the round robin. There was stuff here like Iona and Alabama that I could have just thrown on there, just trusted it. And I didn't do that. And that's why this huge wager doesn't have a full 15 teams in it, because I didn't look at the algorithms. So I have to say it is obviously more advantageous to look at the algorithms, but it's certainly a good idea to go for better lines because I'm going to probably profit more than this with the things that I've done in the other wager, which I'm not going to repost in here because I have to figure out what it is again. But I'll probably do better with that because this, you could take this stuff up here. Like this stuff was playable, I guess. Anyway, all right, guys, that's the sports algorithm recap for Tuesday night. I'll work on Wednesday. I'll get that done eventually. Good luck, Mail. Your picks. Shoo, that's right. We're going to sneeze it out. Be winning.